What's up, comic fans? This is Mark, and this is another Comic Cruise review for the third week of February of 2010. Once again, my name is Mark, and I have 4 comics to talk about this week. 2 Marvel, 2 DC. So let's begin with some DC, with Booster Gold number 30. Now, Booster Gold, like I said before, you should be reading. Seriously, because it is freaking awesome. But also, this isn't a good jump-on point for any new readers, seeing that this is the end of the whole Coast City getting destroyed storyline with Cyborg Superman. This is, however, a really good story, and it's a good ending to the story, having Booster fight off basically his heroic feelings about how he has to not only save people in his mind, but in reality he has to save the timeline, though. He can't really save anybody because that will ruin the timeline. So that little conundrum, I guess you would call it, kind of feeds on Booster Gold. And it's really good reading. The artwork is fantastic, and this is a very good storyline that ended. I can't wait to see what happens next for Booster Gold. I have to give this a 8 out of 10. This was really good. So if you have been reading Booster Gold, pick it up. I mean, there's no point of stopping now. And if you are wanting to get into Booster Gold, I would probably say next month, or at least pick up the last couple issues that had the storyline in it. So Booster Gold has been really awesome since Blackest Night. Now let's get on to another DC. This is Green Lantern Corps number 46. This is the last tie-in to Blackest Night before Blackest Night ends. And this is the last Green Lantern Corps in that whole mix. This is very good. The artwork is fantastic, a lot of bright colors and what have you. The only gripe I have, though, and the reason why it's not the comic of the week, is because too many things are happening and too many things are just being thrown in there and ending. It kind of feels like it's being rushed a little bit, and in doing so you kind of miss a lot of the major things happening in this story. Like, for example, here's a little spoilers, a couple of old girlfriends for Guy and Kyle get brought into the mix, plus the Anti-Monitor. These events should be bigger, and they should be more than one issue. And they mixed it all up in one. I know they're trying to end every storyline, what have you, in the Blackest Night, saying that's going to end soon, but it kind of felt a little rushed, and doing so, it's not the comic of the week. I have to give this an 8.5. This is a really good read. If you have been reading Blackest Night, please pick this up. Alongside, if you've been reading Green Lantern Corps, this is a must-buy. Now let's get to a very big name comic, especially for Marvel people. Siege number 3. Wow, this is probably the best Siege out there. This would have been the comic of the week, but the next one is. But this comic was the best one so far in the Siege. We finally, everything adds up in this comic. It doesn't feel like it's just things happening. Actually, something happens. And a big reveal at the end. I don't want to spoil anything about it. Just let's say it has to do with the Sentry and Norman Osborn getting his ass whooped and finally realizing what has been going on, at least in Norman's eyes. I have to give this a 9 out of 10. This was fantastic. This is great. This was the best Siege so far, in my opinion. So if you've been picking up Siege, pick this up. You will not regret it. For, DC fans that are trying to get into Marvel, Siege is pretty much a pretty good jump-on point because it is being explained very well in all 4 issues, and especially because of the pace of it. This is an awesome series so far. This is a good event. Now let's get to the comic of the week. Now, Siege was going to be the comic of the week, but this one hit me a little harder, and basically, out of all the comics, this one was the one I enjoyed the most. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 625. Now, I was going to hold off on this because, basically, every Gauntlet storyline, which this is a part of, has to do with a older villain, and it's been hit or miss, but I've been saying before, the Rhino one is my favorite. This continues the Rhino story, and wow, this is awesome. I've never been a fan of Rhino, but now I gotta say he's one of my favorite bad guys, basically, in the Marvel Universe, or at least the Spider-Man villains. He's probably one of my favorite ones now. Seeing that you finally see a guy that finally has happiness and it gets taken away. And what does that man do? I like the battle between the new Rhino and the old Rhino, and it's very fitting to the ending, especially for a Spider-Man story, how dark it is. I have to give this a 9.5. This was awesome. The only thing that keeps it from being a 10 out of 10 is because if you didn't read the last Rhino story, you kind of will not get the same feeling as I got when I read this. This was awesome, and this was by far one of my favorite comics I've read in a while, at least for the Marvel sense. So this is the comic of the week, Spider-Man 625. Now those are all the comics I have for this week. Check me out on comiccrazyreviews.website.com with my written reviews, because I have a written review of Spider-Man. It gets into a little more spoilers in that, alongside with these videos, Boxing Type X's toy reviews, which are pretty funny, as well as Blue Goblin's written reviews and his videos, and plus much more like podcasts and what have you. I got a versus poll out there. A new one's going to be brought up next tomorrow, basically. So keep your eyes on the website. Please check out the website. We very much appreciate it. So until next time, guys, peace out and keep reading those comics.